Steve Chasen, 14 Best Court. I have just a quick question.
Yes.
Actually, a couple of questions. What is going to happen, or actually, first, Robert Wood, have you ever had a town sign up for your service and then leave? Cancel the service, like us? Have you ever taken over a town like you're about to take over Spotswood, because that's pretty evident, and then have that town, after your contract was up, cancel your contract?
I'm trying to answer your question accurately. Recently, we had an arrangement that was not a contract with Greenbrook Township, and we were covering Greenbrook Township during the day. Greenbrook needed to expand their hours to 24/7 and entered into a shared services agreement with North Plainfield Fire Department, 24/7 to cover them for free. So we gracefully allowed that to take place. It was certainly in the township's best interest to allow that to happen for a greater level of service for zero cost through a shared services agreement. Other than that, I am not aware of any agents.
Any towns? Any towns like South River, East Brunswick, any towns that you guys cover, have they ever, at the end of their contract, said, look, we're not going to do this anymore, we're going to go another area?
I don't want to speak conclusively. My memory, because I haven't been at Robert Wood I've been at Robert Wood Johnson for 2 years, and some of my knowledge
Were there
base.
from your team? Would they know?
No, they would not, unfortunately. My understanding historically is there was a period of time when Old Bridge Township and a period of time.
I'm sorry, I have to keep it a yes or no because I only have 5 minutes.
I believe the answer is yes. I believe the answer is yes, because they were unable to meet their mission and later.
Yes or no? I'll be Judge Judy. Yes or no, please speak.
Sure.
What is going to happen with our ambulances and our first aid squad when we sign this contract in February with them?
We have one fully operating, well, we have two. One ambulance has really been totaled, but we're still using it.
What is going to happen with it?
They're going to be stored for maybe a year to see how things are going, and if there's any changes in what we want to do.
And what about the building?
The building is being renovated.
Okay, how long is our contract going to be with Robert Wood?
Well, because of this other arrangement we're talking about, this RFP was for 3 years and 2 options.
Okay, so let's just stick with that for a second, because the other RFP just possibly came in. But based on what you said in January at the last meeting, we were going to go probably with them for about 3 years. So we're going to store the ambulances for a year. At that time, I guess we're going to sell them for revenue?
Basically.
Okay. I'm in the used car business. You're going to get a very low number for them. If we sign with them for
Especially
3
when it's
years,
total.
exactly. If we sign with them for 3 years and then it doesn't work out and then we decide to come back in-house again, how are we going to fund that? Where's that money going to come from for new ambulances, another building, equipment, anything else that might be needed that we may have spread out over the 3 years, that now we have to buy it all at once? Where will that money come from?
Well, we need really almost 2 ambulances right away right now anyway, if we were to stay.
Anyway, I'm talking about what's going to happen. We're not going to get ambulance because we're going with them. But what's going to happen if when that contract runs out, what are we going to do then? Where is that money going to come from when we decide to come back in-house? Or are we going to be caught with our pants down and have to sign with somebody else and take the best deal possible that we can get and not be able to bring it back home again?
I'm going to speak for myself, because I don't want to speak for everyone. But when we did this analysis, it became abundantly clear that providing EMS on the scale that we provided is very inefficient.
Okay, I understand that.
And it
that's why
doesn't
you're doing
pay
this,
to
but that's
do
not my
that.
question. And that's my 5
Well,
minutes.
my answer is, I don't see that happening. I don't see us getting back into the business because it doesn't make sense now, and it's not going to make sense in the future. It's only going to be worse.
Well, we don't know if it's going to make sense in the future because we don't know where the Obamacare is going to go. That's one of the things
You
that we're
heard our
saying
report
about.
that our revenue is like this.
Right.
And we're not doing it to make
But
money.
what happens if we
We're
have
doing
3
it to
years of
offset our
now,
expenses.
if our offset, what we're paying them now, if they're not making money and they come back to us and say, you know what, Spotswood, this was a bad deal for us, now we need $500,000. What's going to happen at that point? We can't say, no, we can't do that. We have to because we no longer have our equipment, we no longer have our ambulances, we no longer have our building.
The key to all of this is a regional approach. I said it at the first reading, I'll say it again, even in the League of Municipalities magazine where
So
we have...
why don't we stay with what we
Steve, can I
have
answer
until
if
we
you ask
go
me a
into
question?
a regional approach?
Can I answer if you ask me a question? This League of Municipalities magazine serves 565 municipalities, and it's abundantly clear that Running an EMS department in a small community is very inefficient for the number of calls we have. We have been making compromises. Running the EMS as we are, paying EMTs $11 to $13 to start, having all part-timers, having a part-time director. Let me just compare that with Monroe. Okay, Monroe has a full-time squad that they provide for. Okay, they have a full-time director, $70,000 to $100,000. We're proposing $42,000. They have a full-time deputy director, $60,000 to $90,000.
But we're not
We're not going to have that.
We're looking at another town that has
These
nothing to
are
do with
things that you need to run a department well. They would have a full-time clinical coordinator. We wouldn't have that. Look at the resources that Robert
Again, I'm
Wood
not saying that, and Robert Wood is, this gentleman here in the purple tie has already said several times, we can ask them for those resources regardless. We can ask for the training, we can ask for the extra help. They're there to help us as it is.
Thank you. Time's up.
My 5 minutes is up.
Yes.
You